Channel Japan.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Yasu Ota.
Every week, we bring you the freshest information out of Japan, right here from our studio in Tokyo. From the economy to culture and even food, if you want to know what's happening in Japan, this is where you'll find it. First up is Executive Insight, in which we feature the heads of some Japan's leading companies.
In Japan and many countries throughout Asia, rice is the staple food.
Right.
Rai-san, do you like rice?
Of course, it's something that I eat every day.
I'm exactly the same. In Japan, rice production has largely become mechanized, and various types of farm equipment like them are being used to plant and harvest the crop. Today, we will be hearing from Yasuo Masumoto, the chairman and president of Japan's biggest manufacturers of such equipment, Kubota.
Well, let's hear what he has to say. Have a look.
Executive Insight. Rice is a staple food in Japan. Since the 1940s, one company has been working to mechanize production of rice. Agricultural equipment maker Kubota. Kubota's core products are tractors, planters, and combine harvesters. Tractors are used to loosen the ground before planting. Then come planters. In Japan, rice seeds are first cultivated into seedlings inside a greenhouse. They are then set in a machine that plants them at regular intervals. Once they're ripe, the grains are removed from the husks using a combine harvester. Kubota is the top agricultural equipment maker in the country, with a market share of over 40%. The company chairman and president is Yasuo Masumoto.
社長、ちょっとミニチュアがあるんで気になったんですけれども、これ最新式ですか？
そうですね。でね、これはね、
これはトラクターですか？
変な格好してるでしょ。
三角形ですね。
もともとはこれタイヤなんですよ。
大きいタイヤでしたね。
そうですね。水田って軟弱地ですから、トラクターが沈まないようにしなきゃ。
重いと。
重いと。
地面についてるところが広くなるわけですね。
Hearing that we could see the actual model, we headed to a sales exhibition in Ibaraki Prefecture. There are about 100 different agricultural machines. Kubota holds these events regularly to give potential buyers the chance to see and test their products. Among them is the tractor we saw at headquarters. Called Zero Kingwell, it went on sale just last year. The driver's seat is covered in glass, allowing it to be operated comfortably regardless of the weather. And inside are an air conditioner and CD player, features that are typically found in passenger cars. But the biggest characteristic is the tank-like rear crawler. As a bigger area is in contact with the ground, the pressure is about a third of regular tires. Not only does it prevent the tractor from sinking into the ground, the vibration caused by rough surfaces is dispersed and minimized for the driver. We talked to some farmers who test drove it. Kubota's pursuit of comfort has captured the hearts of farmers, allowing it to become the top manufacturer in the industry.
いわゆる基本性能
We've always focused on the basic functions. They are planting, plowing, and harvesting. But we've differentiated our products by offering greater comfort and convenience for farmers.
Kubota was established in 1890. They were originally a manufacturer of cast metal products. This was their core product at the time, a water pipe. Applying their metal casting techniques, they developed an industrial engine in 1922. To drive sales, Kubota made a harvesting machine. Cast metal is resistant to vibration, making it suitable for the manufacture of various agricultural components. The company quickly became the muscle of the Japanese agricultural industry. But over the past several decades, farming has been on the decline amid the outflow of young people and the aging population. In 2010, the average age of farmers was 65.8 years old. To address this issue, Kubota began proposing a new style of agriculture.
When growing rice, it's always a question of whether you start with seeds or seedlings. If you want an efficient harvest, then it's best to grow them from the seedling stage. But taking the seedlings from the greenhouse and replanting them in the paddy is troublesome. It's easier just to plant seeds. But depending on the way they're planted, there are a variety of risks. For example, they could be eaten by insects or birds. So now, what we're trying to do is to develop a safe way to plant seeds.
5 years ago, they began using a method of directly planting iron-coated seeds in the paddies. Typically in Japan, seeds are cultivated into seedlings in a greenhouse to prevent them from being eaten by birds. Then they're replanted in paddies. But it takes about 1 month for seeds to reach the seedling stage. The water and temperature must also be carefully managed. Under their new method, regular seeds are first prepared. Using special equipment, the seeds are coated with an iron powder. They're aerated for about 1 week and the iron oxidizes, completing the process. Then the seeds are planted into the paddy. The iron-coated seeds have a hard surface, making them difficult for birds to eat. A rice paddy in Miyagi Prefecture began using them this year. The seeds planted in May suffered minimal bird damage and have managed to grow to harvest size. What's more, they say the iron is absorbed by the soil with no effect on the safety of the rice. We talked to the owner of the paddy about the advantages of this new method.
まず育苗の手間が1ヶ月間何もかからなかったっていうことですごい省力化になったと思います。
They say the cultivation time can be reduced by 60%, lessening the burden on elderly workers. The method is also aiding a recent industry trend, the expansion of farms.
Many farms expanding their scale are run by young people. They want a more efficient way of growing rice and are trying to find ways to minimize the time needed for farming. That's why we're proposing various ways for them to achieve that.
というような形になってきてますよ。
Another focus for Kubota is Asia. Asia is a massive market, producing over 600 million tons of rice annually, which accounts for 90% of global rice output. Kubota operates sales centers in 9 Asian countries and regions, including Thailand and China, and has grown sales nearly tenfold over the past decade.
Places such as China, Thailand, South Korea and Taiwan are undergoing widespread industrialization. That's pulling people away from farms into factories and depleting the agricultural workforce. A big problem is how to make farming more efficient with fewer hands. For an agricultural equipment maker like us, it's an exciting time.
Kubota's rivals around the world mainly focus on large-scale equipment used for wheat growing and other dry field farming. But in fast-growing Asian markets, the main form of agriculture is paddies. Kubota wants to leverage its technical expertise in rice production to capture regional demand.
Europe のメーカーやアメリカのメーカーそれぞれ畑で育った大型でどっしりしたメーカーいっぱいあると思うんですが、彼らもまた成長市場のアジア注目すると思うんですけども。
In Europe and the US, farming is done on fields, so the equipment is bigger and heavier and can't be used for rice paddies. European and American makers have entered inland markets in China, where they do dry field farming. We still don't have the strength to compete with them in this area. We want to concentrate on rice paddies first and eventually target dry field farms.
まず水田で買って次畑ですね。
This May, they acquired Norway's Kuvernland for nearly $300 million. Kuvernland is a major manufacturer of agricultural machines installed on tractors. Their expertise in dry field farming is expected to help Kubota further expand into the Asian market.
今海外の売上比率が2011年度の 67%、2、3年以内にもうちょっと高くされるというお考えですね。これはどういった場所でどんなことをされるご計画でしょうか。
There are still markets in Eastern Europe, Russia, Africa, and South America where we don't have a big presence. We will expand sales in those regions and also strengthen our products in dry field farming. If we can do those things, our overseas sales will naturally reach 70 to 80% of our entire business.
From Japan to the rice paddies of Asia and farms around the world, Kubota is busy plowing a path to the future.
Ota-san, Asia certainly seems like a promising market for makers of farm equipment.
It is. This is a comparison of rice paddies in Japan and the major rice growing countries in Asia. China has 17 times more rice paddies than Japan. India has 26 times more rice paddies.
So I imagine farming would become a lot easier if equipment such as those made by Japanese companies are used.
I agree. Take a look at this. If you look at Thailand, which is one of the biggest rice producers in Asia, sales of a combined harvester were about 500 units in 2007. Within 3 years, that number jumped by 10 times.
Oh.
Yes. Sales in Vietnam and China are also to be growing rapidly.
I'm sure mechanization will also help increase food supplies in these countries.
You're absolutely right. I have some data here. In the 10 years between 2000 and 2009, the global population grew 11%, while farmland expanded only about 1%. This is one of the reasons for the food shortage around the world. If Asian farms adopt more machines, rice production will naturally become more efficient, and harvest volume will grow. This could actually help relieve some of the food shortages we have seen now.
Well, that would certainly be a welcome development. After the break, we take a look at how low prices are changing the competitive landscape in Japan.
As the future evolves, Toyota is envisioning a more interconnected life where information and energy flow seamlessly throughout the globe. The road ahead will require diverse and eco-friendly mobility solutions. It is on this path that our small choices lead to big changes. Life. Connected. Toyota.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Since ancient times, these massive stones have been bathed in sunlight. Local rituals, dating back to prehistoric times, attest to man's respect for the sun's power. The sun continues to nourish us, always, everywhere.
Today, Panasonic is helping people reduce CO2 emissions with solar panels and other energy management technologies. Panasonic, ideas for life.
The Norin Chukin Bank has a mission to fulfill. We are committed to the advancement of agriculture, fisheries, and forestry in Japan. Backing the network of our people and communities to help and support one another is a source of pride for us. This is our style of banking. We're banking on trusted networks. The Norin Chukin Bank.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Perhaps it's true. Perhaps we've been in too much of a hurry. Day by day, technology advances. But sometimes we need to pause and listen to what nature is saying. Surely, steadily, and lovingly. These, we believe, are the essentials of manufacturing. Our technologies, your tomorrow. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English. Delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce some popular economics programs. Today, it's an episode from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite.
CTech, an exhibition to showcase the latest IT and electronics technologies. It was here that Pioneer unveiled a brand new product.
それでは 新しいラクナビをご覧ください。
This is their newest car navigation system. So, what can it do?
画面に触れなくても操作ができるというところがこのナビの最大の特徴なんですけれども、今回は手のアクションで、この製品が動くというところが世界で初めてという形になります。
What exactly does that mean?
例えばハンドルに手をかけて視線を前に運転している状態でも手をこうかざすと縮尺を変えることができます。
By waving your hand over the display, you can move the map or even skip to the next song. It seems to be cutting-edge technology, but
非常に一般的な技術です。例えばトイレに入ったら、便座が上がるとか、人が通るとライトがつくっていうのがありますけれども、全くそれと同じようなデバイスを使ってますので、デバイスそのものが新しいわけではありません。
the technology is widely used. The components are also said to be common. So what's behind the high-tech features? We visited Pioneer's Development Center for Car Navigation Systems. In the lobby are products they've made over the years.
こちらの商品が初代機の AVIC-1 という商品になりまして、これが世界で初めて市販のカーナビゲーションとして導入したモデルになります。これは1990年。
Pioneer was the first company in the world to sell consumer car navigation systems. A car at their facility is fitted with the same device we saw at CTEC.
こちらの方はですね、こちらの、赤外線のセンサーがここに2つついておりまして、
The infrared sensors react to hand movements. When a hand is waved over the display, the infrared rays are reflected and the angle is analyzed to determine the type of hand movement. The technology and components are not special. Putting them together to create new functions is where the company's years of experience come into play.
単純に技術のことだけをフォーカスして商品作りしてしまうと、他の国の方々もそういったことは今やれるような世界の情勢になってきてますんで、今までの技術の組み合わせ、これをやることによって別の新しい価値を生み出すっていうことは今後も重要になってくる。
Moves to mine the glut of technologies to develop new products can be seen here as well. At NTT Docomo's booth, a person is holding a tablet computer with one hand and grabbing a hanging strap with the other.
何をなさっているところなんでしょうか。
今はですね、電車のつり革を持ちながらタブレットの操作をしています。視線で操作可能な、自由自在にですね、操作可能な世界初の Android タブレットになります。
This is a prototype of an Android tablet that can be operated by simply looking at the screen. The green dot indicates what you're looking at. Instead of touching the icons, you can turn the page with just a glance. A person's gaze is captured using an infrared sensor and a camera at the bottom of the tablet. When the infrared rays are beamed, your eyes reflect a reddish color, which is captured by the camera and allows the computer to determine what you are looking at. This is the key component.
実際に視線を検知する部品がこのように組み込まれています。視線検知のですね、こういうデバイスの存在を知り、一つのパッケージ化をしてみようと。
Big companies aren't the only ones taking common technology to create cutting-edge products.
何をしていらっしゃるんですか。
はい、これは普通のおもちゃなんですけれども、このおもちゃの中に弊社の技術でスマホからコントロールできるようにしています。
Applix is a young software development company. This toy train can be controlled using a smartphone. Originally, it could only move forward, but
これは本来なかった機能なんですけども、逆にモーターを回しまして更新もできるようにしてあります。あとライトですね。ライトもオンオフっていうのができるようになっています。
Not only can it be controlled by a smartphone, it also has completely new functions, such as moving in reverse and headlights. They say it can be installed in any electronic product.
はい、これはネットで買った350円の扇風機なんですけれども、では今からこれをスマホ対応の扇風機に改造してみたいと思います。
He says he can tweak this regular electric fan on the spot to work with a smartphone. It's a simple fan with just 2 speeds.
今日でもある。はい、以上の扇風機です。ここに弊社の部品を取り付けたいと思います。この部分がスマホからの指令を受け取り、スマホにあるいは信号を返すということができるモジュールです。
The component is simply soldered on. It only takes about 10 minutes.
はい、ハンダ付けが終わりました。こちらがオリジナルの扇風機です。こちらがスマホと連携した扇風機になっています。もともとの扇風機の方は弱と強、これしかできません。で、スマホと連携した扇風機の方は自由に風量をコントロール、だんだん風を弱くしてみます。はい、これはもう本当にそよ風程度の機能が実現できました。
Being used are a common circuit board and a smartphone application. By combining them, a less than $4 fan is transformed into something more. How did they come up with this idea?
実は家電を制御する回路っていうのは数種類に収まることが分かってきたんですね。それを自分たちで回路図に書き起こしたものがここに入っているものになります。
Applix develops software that's used in home appliances, allowing them to examine the insides of various products. All of them are powered by electricity. They may look different and have different functions, but the electric circuits that control movements are largely the same. So the company decided to make devices that could be used with any home appliance.
最先端の技術を作るという方法がただただ技術を突き詰めていくのではなくて、今あるものを組み合わせて、その組み合わせた結果最先端のものが生まれていくというのが今の時代だというふうに思っています。
Ideas that turn available technologies and components into revolutionary products. These initiatives may shed a light on the future of Japanese manufacturers.
So, Ota-san, what do we have next?
Well, as consumers in Japan increasingly seek out low prices, there's intense price competition in various industries. But some companies are hoping to attract consumers by offering products with added value. Have a look.
This is a branch of a sushi chain in Osaka. Among the typical white plates costing $1.30 each are black ones. Found only at this branch, they carry sushi that are $1 more expensive. Starting in July, Sushiro began offering 5 types of slightly more expensive sushi every month. It's a big change in strategy. The purpose is
新規参入も含めてですね、かなり競争が激化しているわけですね。100円の、回転寿司という市場だけではなくて、もう少し価格が高い市場も含めて進化し続けるという、そういうきっかけとして。
Their strategy to go premium. It's being tested at this branch. In the morning, the fish arrive. Inside,
これが189円の金目鯛です。鹿児島県産の天然の金目鯛を仕入れてます。これ今まで105円では販売できなかった、商品ですので。
These fish are handled with extra care. While the lower-priced fish are prepared by a staff of 40, the Alfonsino are the domain of 4 select sushi chefs.
こういう商品をスライスしていただいてますね。はい、特に スライスする大きさっていうところに関しては、小さくなりすぎないように、というところは特に慎重にカットしていますね。
Until now, the chain offered every plate for $1.30. These new plates are almost double the price, so they need to look upscale. But compared to a regular sushi restaurant, $2.30 isn't especially expensive. So how much quality can they offer at this price? To find out more, we visited a port town. This is a fisheries company that supplies seafood to the sushi chain. In front of us are Alfonsino, fresh off the boat from Kagoshima. They're a prized fish that go for several dollars a plate at a typical sushi restaurant.
1.2 キロ。これ以上やはり魚体が小さいとどうしてもやっぱぶどまりが悪くなかなかネタが取れないっていうことになってきますので、1キロ以上の、金目鯛を使用させてもらってますね。
The price of $2.30 influences their choice of fish and size. They negotiate on the origin and price with the intention of buying in bulk.
今ちょうど骨だけを残してるんですよね。ここでいかに、身をつけないか。この状態ですよね。この状態で、いかにこっちに。
They are making sure that nothing is wasted. To maintain freshness, the fish are quickly vacuum packed and sent to the store the same day. Meanwhile, the store is getting ready to advertise the Alfonsino. Decorations are put up to create a more upscale atmosphere.
従来のお店でしたらちょうどこの辺りに、メニューが貼ってあったんですけども、今回の取り組みからはここにはもうメニューが貼らずにお客様が食事中に、こう手に取ってみていただけるようなメニューっていうのを今回から、導入させていただいています。
The seats have also been changed. The difference is the height of the backrest. Compared to before, they are now higher and provide a more booth-like feel. The color is also brighter.
おしゃれっていうかちょっとまあいい感じでまあちょっと個室感もちょっと出てる感じでこういうところであんまりなんていうかなリッチなのがないイメージなんで、まあたまにねそういうのもあると。
It's been 2 months since the project began. They say sales are 20% higher than last year.
お客さんのニーズをある種超える形で進化していかなくてはいけないので、今回のこの唐崎の店のですね実験の成果というのが次につながっていければですね会社としてもいい方向に行くんじゃないかなというふうに考えています。
どうぞ。
New initiatives are also being seen in the apparel industry. Recently, clothing brand Uniqlo teamed up with home appliance retailer Big Camera to open a joint store. The main feature? Low prices, which have been the driving force behind the fast fashion industry. On the same day, 3 blocks away, a press conference was being held by major jeans brand Levi's. Levi's has become synonymous with jeans. But despite its wide brand recognition, the company has been struggling financially. In the latest business year, Levi Strauss Japan expects a loss of over $20 million. To revive sales, they're going upscale.
プレミアム化の方向にですね大きく舵を切りました。低価格商品を撤退して、それからディスカウントをやめて、また同時にですね全ての商品の品質を見直し細部にわたってまでグレードアップをいたしました。
The heart of their premium strategy will be the Shinjuku store. 2 days before the announcement, staff at the store were busy making final preparations late into the night. Leading the charge was Len Peltier, the global vice president flown in from headquarters in the U.S.
I'll have to explain this one. I'll turn this way. Why don't you adjust that stuff and just get them, because that picture is pretty.
One of the pillars of the company's revival strategy is consolidating the brand image worldwide. This store will play a key role, so everything must be perfect.
Up here to Levi's Vintage, which is the core, of the brand, the heart of the brand, I should say.
Their biggest focus is the section selling vintage products.
This is a radio from 1930. It's a tramp art American piece that we bought in Iowa and shipped over here.
A history of over 150 years is something that no fast fashion brand can claim. It is the strength of Levi's. Their plan is to show that off. The history of Levi's is best represented by vintage jeans from the 1890s to the 1970s, known as 501XX.
I think that this has been out in the market and not quite presented in this way before, and so it's a definite one-on-one kind of idea with our customer, but really to appreciate the pieces and not see stacks and stacks of things, They're very beautiful garments, so we want to give them a lot of attention.
The most expensive item is a jacket that costs $940. Even the non-vintage jeans are more than $100.
世の中がデフレのトレンドにありまして、それで低価格化という方向です。本物ですとか、それから上質な質感ですとかですね、そういったものを求めるお客様が必ずいらっしゃるだろうと。ブランドとしてブレないということですね。
ただいまよりリーバイストア新宿店オープンいたします。
Will a steadfast premium strategy be successful? The fans lined up for the opening will soon give their verdict.
So, Ota-san, I've noticed that many Japanese people have become more economical, especially since the earthquake last year. But at the same time, there seems to be a growing tendency for consumers to splurge on small luxuries.
I agree. People might not be buying top-end luxury products, but they do seem to be buying slightly upscale items from time to time. We have some in the studio with us today.
Well, first, this is a retort pouch curry.
That's right. You can find some of the market now that sells for little more than $1. But this is supposed to create a curry of a top hotel. So it's called hotel curry.
Hotel curry.
Yes.
And I actually have them here. So this is the regular curry. Smells like nice curry. And this is the hotel curry.
How is it?
I can actually tell the difference.
You do?
I think this one has more kinds of spice in it. Smells very nice. Okay. And I see we have high-end tissues.
Tissue. This is the one we are talking about. This is slightly bigger than the regular one. This is the regular one. Do you know the reason why it's bigger? It contains the same amount of paper. Right.
Because this is thicker?
No, actually, it contains a lot of moistures. It's said to contain 2 types of moisturizers, and it's soft on the skin. Would you try it?
Oh, it's really
soft? It's very soft.
And smooth.
Smooth.
So this really helps when you have a running nose and you have to blow your nose so many times, because you won't have to get a red nose after blowing so many times.
Very soft on your skin, so it's good for you. Finally, we have a dryer here.
Hi.
Okay. The dryer is called a Nano Care dryer. It costs about $130, about 5 times the piece of the typical hair dryers on the market.
I actually have the same type of these dryers. And I can tell that it's different after drying with these dryers. I think I get more moisturized.
Well, actually, this is not just a dryer. It blows wind, but it's also creates moisture at the same time. It's moisturizers too. This is something they added on value. So value-added dryer. It's not regular dryer. That's why it sells a lot.
Well, sales of high-priced goods are ultimately beneficial for the economy, aren't they?
I'm sure you've heard of the term deflationary spiral. In an economic downturn, things don't sell, and the producer lowers the price, and that results in the lower revenues for the company, and ultimately lower salaries for workers. People spend less, and the negative cycle continues. It's extremely important to get consumers spending more again in any economic recovery situation.
Well, I hope our viewers will also splurge a bit, at least occasionally. After the break, we'll introduce you some popular documentary programs. Stay tuned.
Suzuki Way of Life.
Just a map and a heart full of courage. Our founders started out with little, but they dared to dream big. Today, our reach is global and our resources extensive, but we still have our eyes on the horizon. With courage, reaching out to the world. Mitsui & Company.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
We've just added a new power shovel, and it's great.
Really? Who makes it?
Kobelco.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. And let me tell you, its fuel efficiency is incredible.
Oh.
Kobelco's power shovel delivers more while consuming less. Just like my sweetie.
Don't say that.
And powerful too.
The talk of the world. Kobelco. How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we introduce some popular documentary programs. Today, it's an episode from Japanese Dream by TBS.
It may be difficult to believe, but every year in Japan, there are over 4,000 cases of roads caving in. The main reason, the hollowing out of the ground.
This area is the most troublesome. Places like these are the most prone to sinkholes.
59-year-old Hiroshi Tomita is an expert at finding potential sinkholes. Riding in a self-developed high-tech vehicle, he locates danger spots beneath the road. In the center of Tokyo,
Here. This is it. This is where it all started.
the place he saved from collapse is a major road used for parades. We follow him as he battles danger lurking beneath our feet.
I have a dream.
Mr. Tomita heads a company called GeoSearch. On this day, they just completed development of a brand new ground surveillance vehicle.
With this sticker, I've given it a soul. This will help us spot potential sinkholes and fix the problem before it worsens. It's like a disease. The faster it's detected, there's a better chance that it won't develop into a serious illness.
He is what you would call a road doctor.
Let's go.
He's going on a survey trip. This area began improving earthquake resistance measures after the disaster in northeastern Japan last year. Searching for cavities under the road is a major task. If a sinkhole forms, traffic could instantly become gridlocked, resulting in a disastrous situation. Mr. Tomita's car can find cavities in the ground while being driven at 60 kilometers per hour. The antenna radiates microwaves to reveal hidden dangers. This looks like any other street. But through Mr. Tomita's eyes,
This is the worst case. These kinds of places are the most prone to sinkholes. Between the manholes, there are about 5 cavities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
the image on top shows the road as seen from above. On the bottom is a cross-section of the road. He found 5 cavities in a space of 800 meters. The biggest one is a meter across and is just 50 centimeters below the surface. Such danger spots must be quickly filled in. Meanwhile, this area suffered severe liquefaction due to the earthquake last year. The ground loosened and the number of cavities increased dramatically.
We did a survey right after the earthquake and discovered 359 cavities. This is the area we investigated.
Mr. Tomita and his team drew up a sinkhole danger map showing all the cavities. The red areas were in need of immediate repairs.
だって空洞ができてるなんてことは夢にも思わなかった。見えないから本当に怖いですよね。
To find them as quickly as possible, a mobile surveyor was used, allowing them to analyze data on the spot. they found a cavity just 40 centimeters under the surface. It needed to be filled in right away. So, a hole is first drilled into the cavity. Next, concrete is poured in, completely filling out the empty spaces. They carried out this painstaking process for a year and a half. As a result, the red areas disappeared and safety was restored for the residents.
Our job is to protect the lives and livelihoods of people.
Mr. Tomita has traveled enough to circle the globe twice and found 15,000 cavities. To do his job, he uses a self-developed surveying system. Microwaves are radiated from the antenna into the ground. They bounce back if they hit a cavity, allowing Mr. Tomita to accurately pinpoint the location. In 1988, a series of incidents set Mr. Tomita on this path. 12 separate sinkholes opened up in Ginza, causing panic among authorities and the public. At the time, Mr. Tomita's job was surveying cavities in structures such as tunnels using microwaves. He felt he had to do something to help people with his technology. He immediately began investigating roads. But unlike tunnels, there are numerous objects in the ground, such as water pipes and gas lines. It was difficult to know if the microwaves were really picking up cavities. He had to repeatedly dig the ground to make sure.
Every time I hit a wall, I think. Then I move on. Things get better and I hit a wall again. Then I climb that wall. It's trial and error.
He thought, I want to prevent road cave-ins with the power of technology.
This place really fired me up.
November 12, 1990. The Japanese Emperor's enthronement ceremony. A parade will be held, with the Emperor and Empress riding in an open car from the main imperial palace to the Akasaka Palace. To ensure that the roads are safe, the Construction Ministry orders 30 companies to check for road cavities. Mr. Tomita's firm discovers one.
The second lane from the center. There. It's asphalt until here, and from here it's cement. Just underneath is where we found the cavity.
Mr. Tomita's technique of finding cavities was a cut above the competition. After making sure the road was safe, he watched the parade filled with emotion. Last year, following the earthquake in northeastern Japan, Mr. Tomita headed to the area. In his survey vehicle, he begins checking the roads around a local hospital. Numerous cavities were detected, and he made sure they wouldn't cave in.
For the government and private companies like us that have special capabilities, we each have a role to play after a disaster. Protecting the lives of people is the most important.
With the hope of bringing a smile to people across the country, Mr. Tomita continues to search for danger lurking beneath our feet.
Ota-san, very rarely do we think about what's beneath the roads we're walking on.
That's true. I want to show you again what's underneath our roads. In the cities, there are usually sewage pipes running through the roads we walk on. Naturally, over time, they can become rusted and break, causing leaks. And they ended up having a small holes on the pipes. As a consequence, when you have a huge rains, for example, through the small holes, it sucks the soils and sands from the ground into the pipes, creating holes in the ground. This is how it is.
So it's a scary thought, especially that can lead to a major accident to happen.
It is. That's why the work that people like Mr. Tomita is doing is very important. If they can identify problems early, then they can make repairs and prevent serious incidents from occurring.
So are there any other areas where this technology can be applied?
There are. In fact, it's being used to clear landmines. For the past 10 years, Mr. Tomita has been doing such work in the border across areas of Cambodia and Thailand, which are known for having a huge number of landmines left over from past wars. Many of them are made of plastic materials, which can't be picked up by metal detector. The ability to survey the ground with minimal contact is something that this technology can offer.
So I'm sure his skills are going to be very useful in many areas. Well, that's all for this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you next week, so don't forget to tune in.
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures?
I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
Enjoy traveling around East Japan. The Shinkansen will take you to the land of nature and hospitality. East Japan Railway Company.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Úgy, hogy egy távirányítóval át lehet varázsolni nagy autóvá az autós táskát.
สร้างรถขึ้นมาเพื่อดูดอากาศเสียปล่อยเป็นควันธรรมชาติ
ห
Japan. Direct from Tokyo to the world, get the latest stories from Japan as they happen on the ground. Business, fashion, culture, and food. Everything you need to know about the hottest trends across the country. Channel Japan.